Why does modern occultism look so ineffective? We hear about rituals, covens, secret practices, and yet the results are vague at best. And at the same time, the internet is full of people selling spells for money, love, power. Now, ask yourself, if someone could truly make others rich, would they be selling that ability on Instagram for pocket change? Or is something else going on? Let's play devil's advocate for a moment. What if the issue is not that occultism doesn't work, but that what we are practicing today is not what it was originally supposed to be? What if the modern version is incomplete, distorted, or even deliberately altered? Let's treat this as a working assumption and examine it systematically. Could rituals fail not because magic isn't real, but because we are using corrupted instructions? Today, I'll show you 3 faulty premises modern occultism is built upon that almost nobody questions. And by the end, you'll see why so many practitioners get little to no real results. Modern occultism, including folk systems, makes a very bold claim that you can influence reality beyond what we call the laws of physics. But if we examine its foundations critically, a problem starts to appear. What if the entire structure is built on unstable ground? Premise number 1: faulty historical narrative. Modern occult systems rely heavily on reconstructed history. Sumer, Egypt, Greece, the Middle Ages, the Islamic Golden Age, the Renaissance, a continuous timeline of progress. But here is the issue. Even within official academia, history is one of the most revised and unstable domains. Timelines shift, civilizations disappear, translations change, artifacts get reinterpreted. And most importantly, the dominant version of history reflects the interests of those in power. Cosmology changes, calendars get adjusted, time itself gets reorganized. Now ask yourself, if history is incomplete or manipulated, what happens to systems built on top of it? They inherit the same distortions. In occultism, history is not background. It is the decryption key. If that key is corrupted, everything derived from it is compromised. What do we actually have today? Not intact traditions, but reconstructions of reconstructions, copies of copies, filtered knowledge. And there is a clear incentive for power structures to filter or edit knowledge that could destabilize them. That's not speculation, that's structural logic. We are not dealing with ancient wisdom. We are dealing with fragments of it, edited fragments. Premise number 2, the lost proto-language hypothesis. Almost every serious esoteric system agrees on one point. Language used to have power. In Kabbalah, Vedic traditions, Islamic talismanic systems, sound was not symbolic. It was functional. But modern languages, they are profanized derivatives, fragments, distortions of earlier systems. There is a persistent hypothesis that before linguistic fragmentation, there existed a proto-language, a foundational sound system where phonetics directly interacted with reality. possibly through the geometry of sound waves. The Tower of Babel story encodes this idea symbolically. Now, here is the implication. If that original language is lost, then modern magical words may be nothing more than degraded echoes, which means we are performing rituals using broken code. And if the code is broken, the output approaches zero. Premise number 3. Grimoires filtered through translation layers. Let's look at the core texts. Picatrix, Shams al-Marif, Key of Solomon, Abramelin, Arbatel, Sefer Raziel. But almost nobody asks the critical question: how did these texts reach us? Through translation chains like Arabic, Latin, French, English, Hebrew, Greek, Latin, English. Each step introduces distortion, not just in meaning, but in pronunciation, rhythm, symbolic structure, and these systems depend on precision, sound, number, timing, spatial arrangement. Even minor deviations can break the mechanism. On top of that, many grimoires have been profanized, turned into pop culture objects instead of preserved technical systems. So what are we actually practicing? Not the original system, but a corrupted approximation of it. Put it all together. We get 3 structural weaknesses: unstable historical foundation, a potentially lost original language, texts distorted through translation and filtering. None of this proves occultism is false. That's not the conclusion. The real question is different. Are we using the correct version of it? If the inputs are corrupted, the system cannot produce results, no matter how much effort you put in. And if that's the case, then the real task is not practicing more. It's reconstructing what was lost.